One thing I learned from last year is in this tournament, the structure's so slow, 2-hour levels, you really just need to focus on getting through every day.
I'm quite happy that this is the last day because the hours and days are so long.
To make the main event final table means you are an indelible part of poker history.
I've always wanted to make the final 9, and to do it with over 6,000 players in it is super special.
I'm not itching to double up or get out the door, just savoring every moment while I can.
Every poker player's dream is to make the final table of the main event, and I'm close to doing it twice.
You've got to play 7 grueling days to get to November 9. It really is a tough way to earn an easy living.
That's just Dolly Brunson, who wrote the book.
And there it is. Helmuth wins the championship. This is gonna be the best day of
Ryan Reese is the world champion.
Biggest day of my life.
This is the 2014 World Series of Poker main event telecast presented by Gentleman Jack. 27 players are left. One will win $10 million.
Day 7, let's go.
The last day, the most important day. Let's go, Brazil. Brazil here. Vamos.
It's all kind of a blur, and then one day you wake up and it's, holy shit, there's only 27 left in the main.
One more day, that's all. November 9, I can handle it, but today I need some good love.
I'm ready for day 7. This is what you dream about. I'm ready.
November 9, one day of play, grinding with the world's best.
Everyone is amped for this final day before the final table. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott. A huge day of poker is ahead.
I believe Proust said it best. We are healed from suffering only by experiencing it to the full. We're going to see a lot of suffering experience to the full today, folks.
Dan Sindelar is strong on the golf course and the felt.
Okay, so he can birdie and 3-bet. But can he pick up a 7-10 split with a sore wrist? I don't think so.
Mark Newhouse is the story with 11th place chips.
If this guy makes back-to-back main event final tables, I will remarry and re-divorce my first wife. I think I'll need a court order.
Sweden's Martin Jacobson has a stack worthy of the final 9.
Yeah, 22 million would be an average stack at the final table. If I were him, I'd go watch an Ingmar Bergman film festival and come back at the end of the day.
Jacobson leads the field by a comfortable margin. Luis Velador in 2nd. The dangerous Dan Smith lurks in 7th. Kyle Karanen in 17th has some work to do today.
He should get a t-shirt. On the front, it would say, I have some work to do today. On the back, it would say, where's Curtis Rice at?
Mahan, Robertson, Palmer, all short stacks.
Palmer with 5 big blinds left. That's like walking into a Ruth Chris Steakhouse with a $5 bill.
The current payout is nearly $287 grand for the next 9 eliminations. 3 tables remain. The blinds right now at 60 and 120,000, and pocket queens for Dan Smith under the gun. And all in is Scott Palmer with his short stack. Ace tray of diamonds over to Billy Pappas, the foosball champ with jacks.
There's Palmer all in, and he's caught in a pocket pair crossfire here.
Palmer, once a high-flying online star, had millions tied up online when Black Friday hit. And Pappas delving into deep waters with those jacks, with Smith already in with queens. Pappas makes the call.
Palmer, a 24-year-old pro from Odenton, Maryland. Yes, Maryland, Lon. What a state.
Wow, how many Maryland guys are playing in this event and going deep?
Plus, we eat a lot of crabs.
Brian Devonshire in the big blind with pocket 9s, and he gives them up. Too much action in front of him. Back to Smith now, the best player with the best hand.
Smith was at the University of Maryland for a while. In my dorm hall, we 4-bet here.
He lived in a different dorm hall, I guess.
Well, it's interesting that neither Pappas or Smith wants a pre-flop raising war. Scott Palmer at risk.
We could have a side pot. 9-8 king all clubs. Smith is still best, plus he adds a flush draw, and he checks.
Not a good flop for Palmer. He just went from 29% to 7%. If his hand were a Wall Street stock, it might not make it to the closing bell.
Pappas checks as well. Turn card 6 of hearts. No change to the pecking order.
750.
And Smith will bet at 750,000. And Pappas gets rid of his jacks. Not all foosball champs fold that.
Well, that's a good conservative play from him.
Smith has Palmer heads up. Pappas happy he folded.
Only the ace of spades or the ace of hearts would save Palmer.
And the river card is the ace of hearts. Palmer spikes the winner and sits there like he knew it was coming.
Good time to get lucky. I was wondering how you're still eating Subway. Like, down to 2 hours, can you get a better lunch?
Oh, it's pretty confident. Palmer can finish his lunch now in good spirits.
Milos is around.
Thanks for the good luck. I clearly made the ace on the river.
I'm happy for you.
All right, time to do that like 3 more times, and maybe you'll win this.
Well, then you missed Milos.
Every year, I hear politicians and friends arguing whether poker is a game of skill or luck. We know it's a combination of both, with a heavier emphasis on skill. And Norman, that last hand is a great example, right?
Billy Pappas folded jacks there like they were 7-deuce offsuit. That is skill. Scott Palmer beat queens with ace tray. That is luck. Yes, in any one hand, luck is a factor. But in a lifetime of hands, skill is the predominant factor. What, you don't believe me? Then sit down heads up against Phil Ivey or Phil Galfond for a week or two, then come back to me after you've lost the shirt off your back and tell me it's a game of luck.
The chip leader is at our featured table, Martin Jacobson and his $22 million. Kyle Karanen has bested his 38th place finish from a couple years ago. And there's Brian Roberts. Apparently, when he runs deep, he goes for purple.
Tiger Woods has red. Brian Roberts has purple. Everyone needs a color.
It worked well for Brian back in 2011 at the World Series of Poker Europe final table. He's hoping it does the same here in Las Vegas. This is a fully loaded feature table right now. Roberts is the shortest stack in the room.
Roberts said he'd rather bubble than min cash, but I believe he'd rather final table than bubble.
Yeah, like Brian Roberts, Kyle Karanen also in need of chips.
No update on whether he will go golfing with Curtis Rystat post-main event. I'm betting against it.
Action on Kyle right now at our featured table. King, Queen.
Kyle has changed visors. I consider that a tactical mistake. Change underwear? Yes. Change visors? No.
Gotta love picture cards. A raise to 250,000. Jacobson, Queen 8 off for the big stack, and he'll throw those away. Roberts with a suited jack into the muck. The Moscow pro, Andrei Zychenko, they call him Zaya, in the small blind folds. And now to Felix Stevenson, 23-year-old Norwegian pro, in the big blind with pocket sevens.
Well, from Norway, and he wasn't expecting the 105-degree heat here in Las Vegas.
This is his first ever World Series cash. This is going to be a good one for him. He calls for 130,000 more.
Kyle couldn't generate much on day 6. Hope day 7 turns around.
And there is a set of sevens for Stevenson, and somewhere Curtis Rystat is cheering. Stevenson checks.
Top pair versus middle set. Doesn't bode well for Kyle. He was making big hands earlier. Things change.
Kyle does bet out 300,000.
Felix in a Chargers hat. What's the last time they made the Super Bowl? Maybe 20 years ago? Tough
time
to get to the November 9 in a Chargers hat.
And he calls jack on the turn. And now Kyle Karanen drawing dead, and Stevenson checks to him. Kyle still top pair, and he checks back.
A little pot control there from Kyle.
10 of spades on the river. Now let's see what Felix does with his set.
Well, Felix not afraid of ace-king here, which would make Broadway. Of course, I'd be afraid of ace-king.
I'm afraid of ace-king right now. 575.
Top pair for Kyle.
And a very good kicker. It looks like he's going to commit the chips. There is the call. There is the set. And Stevenson takes a bite out of Karanen's dwindling stack.
I think Kyle misses Curtis Rystat right about now.
So the kid who grew up in Norway, who lives in London, and is also an NFL fan, wins a nice pot off Kyle Karanen. Oh, and he loves real football, too.
Poker has grown a bit more accepted over the past few years in Norway, and I can see that in a lot of ways. So we're here in Manchester today. It's game day. Hey guys, how are you doing? Come on in. So I'm here with a couple of my mates from Norway. Excited to get things rolling.
He's outgoing, he's kind, he's down to earth. Well, basically, just a good guy.
Love me? I wouldn't dare. All right, so we got our golden ticket for a golden season, and it's time to hit the pub.
Felix for me is a laid-back man, chilled man, always friendly, helps out. You can just trust him.
My friends has always been on board with me playing poker, and they've always been super supportive. It took a couple of Christmas dinners to get the entire family on board. Hi, Mom! They were a bit worried when I dropped out of school, but I mean, I've been making a living in it for a few years now.
Felix, as a person, is a really private guy. He likes to spend the time by himself, but he also has a lot of close friends that he takes good care of, and we all pretty much loves him as a person, just the way he is.
He's strategic, he's competitive, and, well, he's basically a winner already.
Felix has definitely everything to bring down the championship. 100% believe in the guy.
It feels like whole of Norway is backing me, and I'm feeling confident that I won't let them down. I guess we're off to the game. Later, guys.
He used to be pretty good when he played soccer, and now he's a pretty good fan of Manchester United.
Action folded around to the big blind. Sean Dempsey, pocket kings for the Las Vegas anesthesiologist.
He won a bracelet this summer. In that event, Bruno Politano finished 17th.
And Dempsey just calls with the kings. He's got a son named Jack, no kidding.
Jack Dempsey.
Yeah. All right, heads up, Dempsey and Newhouse. Kings against 9-8 suited. 6-4 queen, couple of hearts. Dempsey.
I had a colonoscopy just before the main event, Lon, and that day the anesthesiologist was my best friend.
No kidding. Dempsey checks to the razor.
Dempsey is playing these kings very slowly. Of course, flush draws probably look like flushes to Mark Newhouse, but hey, he's running well and playing well.
260,000 with the flush draw to Dempsey with the kings.
Maybe a check raise here, huh?
Just a call.
Not the most aggressive anesthesiologist I've ever run into.
Well, you don't want them too aggressive, but with kings, you want them a little aggressive. Turn card 5 of spades.
Well, that's a pretty safe board for pocket kings. Time to put the gas mask on Newhouse's hand.
Mark picked up a straight draw as well, and Dempsey will give him a free shot to hit it. Does Dempsey know he has kings? Newhouse, a little suspicious.
That's a bad check. You know he's going to hit it.
Jack of hearts. Oh, thank you for the flush, says Mark Newhouse.
Oh, look at this. This is a bad formula, Lon. Check when you're ahead, check when you're ahead, again, and then bet when you're beat.
550,000 into Newhouse with the made flush now. Brian Roberts taking care of some business away from the table.
Wake up. I badly need you on the rail with the push bot chart. Donnie sent it to me, but it's...
Newhouse raises Dempsey all in.
Dempsey would have 16 big blinds left if he folded. And we've talked about it before. It's hard to call off the rest of your chips with one pair.
What a moment for Dempsey.
Call.
He calls, and it will be last call for Sean Dempsey at the 2014 main event. He let Newhouse get there.
Good game, man.
Right.
Another Newhouse casualty.
Dempsey out in 27th, and that brings his World Series earnings to nearly $1 million. The doctor can play. But it's Newhouse dishing out the pain to the anesthesiologist with our first knockout here on day 7. The 2014 World Series of Poker is presented by Gentleman Jack, the Order of Gentlemen. And in part by the WSOP's social game on Facebook and mobile. Try our new high roller tables today. Welcome back to the 2014 main event. 26 players remain, including many first-timers we've been following from the beginning. Their improbable journey continues here on day 7.
I didn't sleep that great. I was relaxed, but I still didn't sleep that great. You have hands in your head and how the day is going to go and stuff like that, so it's hard to sleep. I think I'm number 5. I have 15.6, and I never thought I'd play the main event, never mind get this far. It's pretty crazy. I'm trying to do this one table at a time. My goal today is just get through the first table and get through the day. For me, I need to stand up a lot and go talk to my friends, and I need to cool down and relax, and that's what they're there for, you know what I mean? And they're perfect.
Did you guys cheer when he knocked him out?
Yeah. Did you really? Hopefully in November there would be an insane amount of people, I'm pretty sure.
When I went to bed last night, I was thinking how lucky of a man I am. It's pretty cool. My family, everybody put me in this thing, and it's just surreal. It's just awesome. It's a dream of a lifetime. And hopefully it affords me to be able to play in more tournaments and affords me things that I would have not been able to before. So I want to get to the table. I want to get a hand. I want to get doubled up, and I want to get some chips back. And I'll have to be a little more aggressive than I normally play, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm not giving up.
And here we are. It continues. I mean, today is one day of play. You grind, maybe hopefully don't get unlucky. Yesterday, I jokingly walked over and said, I'm dug in. And a tick was a good description of that. It's hard to put it into words right now. One day of play, equates to, being a November Niner. Pretty intense.
Well, Tom just checked the turn as a more than 3-1 dog to the pair of sevens held by Oscar Kemps, a Dutch amateur who lives in Belgium. They both check. River card is another 7. Kemps with trips. Sarah checks to him.
Oscar Kemp's not a first-timer, though. This is his 5th straight main event, and he cashed in 2012.
Kemp started the hand with almost $3.8 million. It's time to get moving. The purple chips worth $100,000 each. There's a bet of $350 and a snap call by Sarah. Wow.
We'll have to invent a new term because that was faster than a snap call from Sarah. And what was that?
Sarah pays him off with a smile and shows.
Why doesn't anybody ever believe me?
Because you show 7-5 off.
That's the first time we ever played together. What's wrong with 7-5? Nothing.
So Kemp's building a stack. He's up to $4.6 million now. All right, let's get back to the feature table. Short stack. Brian Roberts is under the gun with King Jack offsuit.
And he is eyeing his short stack. 10 big blinds there.
All in.
Houston Pro says all in.
As a rule, I root for the purple shirt against all other colors.
So Roberts all in for just over $1.2 million. Stevenson folds to Eddie Sabat, 28-year-old poker pro with ace-queen.
Eddie and his girlfriend, Melissa Costello, a great example of opposites attract. He loves meat. She's a vegetarian. He's a Packers fan. She's a Bears fan.
And Eddie will make the call, so Roberts officially at risk. Any other takers? Politano on the button.
31-year-old business owner / part-time poker player.
2 red 10s.
Pretty good hand.
He sits with $12.6 million.
It's total? Thank you. It's 10? Okay, thank you.
Uh-oh, the hoodie comes off.
Well, no tells on Eddie Sabat. No tells on the purple people eater, but Bruno, I believe, is a junkyard of tells.
I fold.
He says fold.
Interesting fold, conservative fold. As it turns out, Politano would have been up against 4 overs unless he raised and pushed Sabat out pre-flop.
It's a big blind. Martin Jacobson, ace-7 into the muck, so Roberts at risk.
That's a great hand to be up against.
Oh, slow roller.
Slow roll. I mean,
That's a great hand.
if I had kings.
To be up against.
If I had kings. I mean, that's a good one for me. I perked up. Come on. That's a good one for me. I was about to say ace-queen, please.
The flop, 7 ace-10. Sabat catches an ace. Roberts picks up a Broadway draw.
Tens. I have tens.
I had ace-7.
Oh. Oh, red tens.
You tens?
Tens, red tens.
Turn card, another 7.
Oh, Jacobs.
Bruno and Martin both just made full houses in their fantasy folded hands.
You open, I 3-bet. You 4-bet, I call.
Yeah,
I check raise the flop.
I double opted.
Roberts has got to have a queen.
The river card, another ace, and Brian Roberts' impressive run is over. Bruno would have come in 3rd in that hand, but back in the real world, Sabat knocks out Brian Roberts in 26th.
His 2nd main event cash year, plus he was 4th at World Series Europe in the main event in 2011.
For Jacobs, you escaped me.
No min cash for Roberts. Hopefully he's happy with the nearly $300,000. A wild run out leaves Eddie Sabat smiling and Brian Roberts the 26th place finisher. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event telecast presented by Gentleman Jack. To an outer table, that is Spain's Andoni Larabe with pocket eights in the big blind. He's faced with a raise by Tom Serra holding ace-10.
Larabe has been quietly on cruise control most of this main event.
Larabe putting Serra all in.
Serra started the hand with 27 big blinds.
It's a big bet.
Serra trying to assess the big over raise.
What's his hustle? Like,
Think about this.
7,500 and I was like, he had all his little minions, like
big bet.
5 boys. Like, yeah, it's a good bet, man. Dude, just quiet over here, man. Like, I don't need your boys.
He got a friend never supposed to call away here, but what are you going all in with there? You don't want any value out of it.
Serra has one right idea. I don't think he's supposed to call here.
Call.
But he does. They're racing for 9 million chips in Serra's main event life.
Yeah, Larabe made the right move. I don't think Serra did.
You all are crazy.
Like it. You heard Lee Forrest say, y'all are crazy.
I knew I had AIDS, but call it
off. Call off. I knew it was terrible, a terrible call. But I mean, I felt something wasn't right, man. Something wasn't right.
Big pot for eights versus ace-10.
It's a big bet.
One of our first timers at risk. And here is the flop. There's a 10, a queen, and another 10 trips for Serra.
Serra felt something wasn't right. All is right now for ace-10.
Larabe in danger of giving up half his stack. Turn card 4 of diamonds, no help to the Spaniard.
Only an 8 would send Tom Serra home.
River card is the 6 of diamonds. Serra has doubled up to a very respectable 9 million. Wow.
Yeah, they essentially will swap chip positions.
Nice hand, you crazy.
I'm crazy.
Thought you were snapping the queen jack there for a second.
Well, as poker pro Greg Pappas told me this summer, nobody said you had to be smart to play poker. Serra got away with one there.
Boy, Tom went with his read, and it worked out. Larabe now has some makeup work to do, sitting with just 27 big blinds now.
I was on to something, I felt.
You were right, man. You were right.
No, I had to get lucky, sir. I know. I had to get lucky.
A big hit to the stack of Andoni Larabe. Larabe, the youngest player left in this field, but it is his 4th World Series cash.
Fight Club and Into the Wild are his favorite movies. You know, Meatloaf was in Fight Club. Maybe he's a Meatloaf fan, although I never thought Meatloaf translated well beyond our borders.
We'll keep it right here where Larabe will try to shrug off that hit. Dan Sindelar in action just flopped a set of 9s against Lee Force and his pocket aces.
Force beat Jason Kuhn heads up for his 2012 bracelet.
Dan checked it to Force, and Force bet 675. And Dan will make that call. Force had 3-bet pre-flop. Jack of hearts on the turn. Sindelar quickly checks.
His mother wanted to name him Life, but ultimately she went with Leaf. I know I'm biased, but I would have gone with Norman.
And Sindelar gets what he wants. Force putting chips together. There's 1 million.
See, Norman Force doesn't make that bet there, though in Leaf Force's defense, that board looks pretty benign.
Force betting with the pocket aces has run into a big set of 9s. Just a call from Sindelar here.
Sindelar just looks like he's always behind, and he's usually ahead.
6 of hearts on the river. The set is best, and he checks again.
Well, Sindelar has let Force carry the water the whole way, so by the end of the hand, Leaf's arms are tired, and Dan's are fresh and strong.
Plenty strong to rake in whatever pot he's going to rake in soon. And once again, Leaf, Norman Force reaching for chips. This time it's $1.6 million.
And Sindelar simply calculating what type of check raise to make here.
On.
Las Vegas Poker Pro says all in. He's got the bigger stack.
A river check raise is almost always a monster.
Pocket aces. And he got bad vibes from Sindelar, and Dan will take that pot. And Dan Sindelar is now the chip leader in the house. Good fold from Lee Force at the end.
15 seconds of tanking could have saved Lee Force 15% or more on this hand.
Even a caveman knows that. An unlucky flop combined with an untimely river bet. Lee Force is reeling. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Here's Kara Scott with a report on the remaining field.
With 25 players left, the field is not even. The top 5 players hold more than 40% of the chips in play. And while being a big stack right now is an enormous advantage, it's not a guarantee of a final table spot. There's only 2 former champions who actually started their day 7 in the top 10 of the chip stacks, and that was Peter Eastgate and Jonathan Duhamel. And while being a short stack is actually not comfortable for the players, it's not a guaranteed exit. Last year, 3 of our November 9 started their day 7 in the bottom third of the chip counts, including the champion, Ryan Reese.
One of the short stacks last year was Mark Newhouse, now trying to make November 9 history.
Scott Mahan on the right, one of the bottom 3 this year with King-Jack offsuit.
You heard the emotion in Scott Mahan's voice earlier in our First Timers feature. He realizes this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and he wants to seize the moment.
Raised to $350,000. Pappas, another first-timer with ace-king.
And Pappas's mantra at this main event has been, today might be the biggest day of my life. He's hoping day 7 is just that.
He does have one of the biggest chip stacks and certainly the tallest chip castle. Pappas with ace-king is going to re-raise it to $800,000.
These 2 amateurs on the precipice of a life-changing day. When was your last life-changing day, Lon?
Oh, wow. Without a doubt, the day I bought a Vitamix blender on QVC.
Wow. I didn't even know you had QVC on your cable system.
It's a good blender. All right, so action back to Mahan, the original raiser with King-Jack.
I don't like King-Jack.
Well, he likes it enough to call for 450 more.
I'd rather be stuck in a VW bug under a pile of rabid weasels than play King-Jack offsuit out of position.
All right, heads up. Here we go. The flop. 10-8 queen. Mahan's open-ended. Pappas with a gut shot. Mahan first to act. He says all in for over $1.6 million. So back to Billy Pappas, who started with almost 16 million chips.
Yeah, this might not be enough chips to make Billy Pappas go away. Pappas from Lowell, 4th largest city in Massachusetts. Mahan from Elk Point, 38th largest city in South Dakota.
And their stacks represent the size of their cities. But the small town gets big town to fold, and Mahan will survive.
Elk Point is in the house.
Yes. You go, Sam. Woo! Nice hand, bud.
Scott's fiancée, Vicki Morgan, loves to see that. Mahan takes a few from his fellow first-timer, Billy Pappas, who spoke to us earlier about how his day 6 went.
Today, I've been getting called, and I haven't been flopping, but they've been hitting. And yesterday, they just weren't hitting against me. So then I kind of shy away. But my strategy yesterday was just to raise 4 bets, 5 bets, try not to see any flops, all pre-flop. And it worked out great. And today, I'm kind of being a pansy, I guess.
What a day 6 he had. He went from 3 million to 15 million chips.
Now he's bravely wielding pocket jacks against the aces of William Tonking. All undercards for both players on the flop. Pappas checked.
Tonking started dabbling online with play money in college just to kill time between classes. He went to South Carolina. I went to Maryland. We play poker in class.
Tonking plays online poker in New Jersey. They can play online there. This is his first main event cash, and he bets $900,000 with the aces.
When he was growing up in Lowell, Pappas played a lot of cards but never hold them. Stud, AC-deucey, 727. Oh, 727 line. If 727 were a bracelet event, I'd bubble the final table every year.
Pappas puts Tonking all in. And an easy call for William. He's 2 cards from a really nice double up.
Well, we've seen so often in the past the overpair to the board calls all in and gets taken out by a flopped set. No set here, and Tonking in terrific shape for the double-up.
William Tonking looking at almost 11 million chips. The 6 of hearts changes nothing.
Pappas looking for a jack and a jack only to bust Will Tonking.
The river card, the 4 of clubs. Pappas comes up empty, and over a third of his stack makes Tonking a happy man.
For Tonking, it just looks like another day at the office.
So Pappas has been cut to about 9.5 million on our player tracker. You see Tonking benefited greatly from the aces, jumping from 17th place all the way up to 6th place with 25 players remaining.
How come we never see the player tracker move from left to right?
That's too depressing. William Tonking takes some of Pappas' stack. Will, a cash game player from Jersey who only plays a few tournaments a year. Nice run here, though.
On day one, he was actually down to 8,000 chips from a starting stack of 30,000, but recovered nicely.
Over to our river rafting guide, Brian Devonshire shoved with pocket 10s before Austrian amateur Max Senft called with ace-jack of diamonds.
Senft came to the main event this morning from a bank robbery.
There's an ace, and now it's Devo who needs a dealer to pull him a winner.
Boy, big pocket pairs have not been kind to Devo in the latter stages of this main event.
It's a queen on the turn, both with Broadway draws, so Devo's 10 is no good anymore.
Devonshire's got to have a jack now.
Jack of hearts is my favorite card. It might be mine soon.
The river card, the 6 of spades. Brian Devonshire comes up short, will forever be known as 2014 main event finisher, number 25.
Second very deep main event run for Brian Devonshire in 4 years. He always deserves better.
A hasty exit for Brian Devonshire as Max Senft will stack his winnings. He's into 11th place. Another terrific run for Devonshire, ends in 25th. A big payday. That'll go a long way for a river rafting guide. No doubt we'll see Brian back here again soon. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event telecast presented by Gentleman Jack. To our featured table, the latest chip to be introduced, the 250 beige chip. Collect the stack of those and you're doing okay. Fold it to Bruno Politano, the Brazilian on the button with pocket kings, a raise to 350. Kyle Karanen in the small blind with king, queen of hearts.
Karanen stuck in neutral and a little reverse for quite a long time.
Down to 28 big blinds now for the once high-flying pro. Karanen wants to play. How badly does he want to play? And those purples. Wow, that's quite a few purples. That's a raise to 775, telling Bruno, don't be a button bully. Jacobson folds his big blind. Now back to Brazilian Bruno.
Well, Kyle with a good hand, he doesn't think much of Bruno's button raise. Politano has a retail store back home selling purses, belts, and the like for women. I don't think he bought this hoodie at his own store.
No, I don't think so. And there is a 4-bet to $1.2 million from Bruno.
And that 4-bet cannot please Kyle Karanen.
Karanen with the shortest stack at this table.
I don't think a lot of dealers would figure that out that fast.
All in.
Karanen says all in. And a quick call from Politano, and just like that, Kyle Karanen at risk, and it's not looking good.
Rei contra rei dama.
Yeah, Kyle overplays king, queen there, and it may play his way out of the main event.
Spades, 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 spades coming.
Bruno loves snapping his fingers and calling for cards.
Spades coming.
It's Kyle who needs the help right now. The flop, 6-10-7-1 heart.
Mais uma preta, mais uma preta. Low card. It's a black card, black card, black card.
Man, it's easy. Relax, it's easy. You're easy win.
No, never is easy, man. That's poker. I play poker 13 years. Never is easy.
Kyle staring at his second disappointing finish here after having a big chip stack late.
Turn card is red, but it's a diamond, and that brings an abrupt close to Karanen's main event.
Pegamos ele, filho, vamos.
Kyle Karanen got caught by the bigger stack. Knocked out in 24th place.
He was 38th in 2012.
Cheers. Good luck.
He knows how to navigate these huge fields.
Good luck, guys.
Good game, man. Well played.
You too, man. Cheers.
I don't know what to say in English, but
it's not so correctly against him.
No, but I
know, but
I pray for me, okay? It's
you have a big hand against him.
That's my style. I'm
so
sorry, that's my style.
Okay. Kara is with Kyle Karanen right now.
Kyle, you've been on the feature table so much. You've played with Ivy, Curtis Reistad. You've been the chip leader. Characterize the experience of this main event for us.
I mean, that's pretty tough. Pretty tough to say. I mean, it was a good run. I mean, I thought I could do a little bit better than I did again this year, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Well, you've been deep in this tournament before, again this year. So what do you take forwards to, you know, the next time when you want to come back and go deep in the main event?
Yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna get some sleep, and maybe hopefully next year I'll have enough energy to get up and do it again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One of the biggest stars of this year's main event is gone. Nicely played, Kyle Karanen. While we were away, some eliminations to report. Urin Keringnard out in 23rd for almost 287 grand. And Iron Lightborn can go home to his cat, Princess, a lot richer now. Short stack Leaf Force may join the ranks of the eliminated if his King-Queen doesn't approve against the Ace-10 of Chris Graves.
Leaf Force push with 15 big blinds left. Graves, 39-year-old software developer.
And he probably knows he's a 60% favorite to win.
And I've got to tell you, my guy Leaf doesn't look like he wants to go home. He's suffering already.
Here's the flop and trip tens for Graves. Force did pick up a gut shot.
Leaf knows how tough it is to get this deep. He's done it before. Now he needs a lot of help to stop the suffering.
Turn card, 5 of hearts, no relief for Leaf Force. Chris Graves on the verge of a knockout.
Leaf Force has to have a jack.
The river is an 8, and a supremely disappointed Leaf Force has been knocked out of this main event. A second deep run, 21st place.
Yeah, like Brian Devonshire, the second time he's made the final 3 tables of the main event.
Leaf Force with another fine payday. He's got World Series earnings just shy of $2 million. Quite a call from Graves with ace-10. He was short stacked. Now, with 6 million chips, he's in 16th place.
I'm sure it's no consolation to Leaf, but I'd give him $75 for that satchel.
So the field continues to shrink as we go back to our featured table. 20 players now remain. 2 more knockouts. We'll see a $60,000 pay bump. So a bit of a bubble in play. Felix Stevenson has the action at this table. He looks down at ace-10 of diamonds. Stevenson with a raise to 350,000. Eddie Sabat now.
350 is the raise by Felix.
Sabat with 2 blackjacks.
Eddie lives in downtown LA. Nobody lives in downtown LA. It's like a scene out of Blade Runner down there.
He's got all 4 chip colors, which add up to about 8.2 million. And with those chips, Eddie makes the call.
Eddie lives in a loft. He doesn't have a dining room table, but he has a pool table, which I guess could double as a dining room table.
Yeah, it can. Why? What about that?
Oh, you do too?
No, I don't have a pool table. Jacobson in the big blind was 7-5 of hearts.
Getting 5.5 to 1 on a call here. It's irresistible.
And Martin will come along, channeling a little Mark Newhouse with 7-5 of hearts. 3 players will see the flop. Sabat with the best of it right now. The flop, deuce, tray 9. No improvement to any of them, so Eddie's jacks are still the hand to beat. Jacobson checks.
And Stevenson now in the process of a standard continuation bet per the North American Free Trade Agreement.
With ace high, 425. Sabat now with the best of it.
Sabat obsessed with the Clippers, and he walks to Staples Center. Nobody walks in LA, jeez.
Just a call. Martin folds, so heads up now. Sabat a heavy favorite. Turn card, 7 of clubs, no help to Stevenson. And he now checks.
Time for pocket jacks to announce themselves.
No, he checks back.
No announcement?
No announcement. River card is an ace, and Stevenson gets there. Sabat gave him the red carpet to the river.
Yeah, that's not a good card for my fellow Angelino with the Lon McCarron Memorial hand over there. And Felix is going to try to cash in on his gift here.
Felix try to cash in for 575,000.
575. That bet stinks like day old lutefisk.
It's your boy from LA with the calling chips in hand.
This feels gross like ace-10.
Reddy's ace-10 radar is spot on.
Yeah, but we know what happens when somebody calls out of hand.
They still call?
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again.
Maybe I let you get there.
You got that right.
Good read.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
I just don't get it, Eddie. You make the right read and still call. I mean, I always make the wrong read and then call. That makes sense.
Stevenson now right on the chip average with 20 players left into 7th place. His bet and Sabat's call of his hand are tonight's gentleman jack right move. Eddie knew what Felix's hand was, but he couldn't fold the jack.
This feels gross like ace-10. Maybe I let you get there.
Got a good read.
A nice value bet proved irresistible.
This bet so small, it was perfect.
Day 7 of the main event continues right after this. The 2014 World Series of Poker is presented by Gentleman Jack, the Order of Gentlemen. And in part by the World Series of Poker Circuit Tour. Looking for live tournament action in a market near you? Check out the new schedule at WSOP.com. Like them or not, there were a lot of different kinds of shades in the room.
I don't have to like them, and I do not.
I do like Dan Smith's sunglasses. Just saying, folded to the talented Mr. Smith with ace-king suited.
He's such a lonely, imposing presence.
He is indeed. A raise to $350,000. Billy Pappas, queen 6 of diamonds on the button. He'll give it up to the small blind, Jorrit van Hof with 4s.
Van Hof started a Dutch poker training website. Smith has done training videos for multiple training sites. My hunch is Van Hof is more student-friendly.
But we do expect this hand to be played perfectly. Van Hof with a re-raise to 900,000 to Tonking now in the big blind. A lot of new chips to take care of, and he will fold. So back to Smith.
That's 900. You start with 6 million?
See for yourself, punk.
Still 7 stacks of green.
Yep. Tough cross-examination.
Thank you.
The prosecution now calls tournament director Jack Effel to the stand.
2 pretty even stacks. Van Hof with a slight advantage. Yeah, with ace-king suited, a 4-bet to over $1.8 million.
It's a facial hair showdown at the Agro Corral.
Van Hof now with the decision.
All in.
He re-raises Smith all in.
The 5-bet.
Call.
Smith calls. They're flipping for 13 milli and Dan's tournament.
Wow. But these are 2 deep stacks, putting a lot of chips at risk pre-flop. Pocket 4s. I don't care if it's ace-king suited. It's just a drawing hand. I should be making the training videos, Lon.
Boy, neither looks like they wanted it to come to that, but here we are.
I hope so.
I know you do, buddy.
We saw it in Lee Force's body language earlier, and you can see it now in Dan Smith. The pain of the moment, and what a massive moment in this tournament.
At least we're having fun, right?
It is fun.
Here's the flop. Deuce, tray 8, no spades, no ace, no king.
Dan Smith on edge.
Pretty much all or nothing at all for both players in his hand. Turn card, the queen of spades. Dan still in need. Van Hof on the verge of a huge win.
Dan Smith doesn't want to look at it. He's looking for an ace or a king.
The river. Another trade. Dan Smith is out. Van Hof takes the pot.
It was a pleasure, guys. A lot of fun.
Smith a force anytime he plays, and always a threat to end up with all the chips.
For Dan Smith, an excellent run, but one that he surely thinks should still be going. Dutch pro Jorrit van Hof takes out the very dangerous Dan Smith. He's got 85 big blinds. That puts him in 5th place.
One man celebrates and one man suffers.
Dan Smith earns almost $287,000. Wow, one disappointed pro. Time now for the DraftKings.com King of the Night. We give it to a player who was eliminated earlier. 24th place finisher Kyle Karen, and he played with Ivy on day 4. He was bedeviled by Curtis Reistad on day 5. Chip leader on day 6, now gone on day 7. A field of 6,683 has been whittled down to 19. Dan Sindelar with a huge stack of nearly 26 million.
My allegiance is with Eddie Sabat. Maybe if he wins this thing, he can buy a dining room table and invite me over to dinner and buy a car and drive me around LA.
For Dan Smith, a painful walk back to reality. 7 days of play ends with ace-king suited falling short. On a day before the main event final table, every emotion was on display.
The black loop card, the black loop card, the black loop card. Yes! Vamos, filho!
So even for a seasoned pro like yourself, is busting out of an event like this quite difficult?
I'm heartbroken right now.
19 players remain.
At least we're having fun, right?
Jeez. This feels gross like ace-10.
You're on a good read.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarron. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.